Zone controller inputs. Each ZonePro has two ZC inputs. These ZC inputs are standard RJ45 connectors. The top ZC input is for IDs 1 through 6. The bottom ZC input is for IDs 7 through 12. Each of these inputs accommodates up to 6 zone controllers. Therefore, each ZonePro device can accommodate up to 12 zone controllers maximum. Since each zone controller has two paralleled RJ45 connectors, they can simply be daisy-chained together. Each zone controller also has 6 dip switches. These dip switches allow you to select a unique ID for each zone controller. For example, here you see 6 ZCs daisy-chained to the top ZC input. So to address these ZCs as IDs 1 through 6, simply set the first dip switch in the on position with all the others off. This is now ID number 1. For ID number 2, set the number 2 dip switch on with all the others off, and so on. Basically, these dip switches are selecting which of the 6 inner wires inside of the Cat5 cable each zone controller will be assigned to. When plugging the zone controllers into the bottom ZC input port, you simply repeat this process. Therefore, ID number 7 would have the number 1 dip switch on, all the others off. ID number 8 would have the number 2 dip switch on, all the others off, and so on. When creating your program within ZonePro Designer, ZonePro Designer will also show you how to set these dip switch settings. This makes configuring these zone controllers very easy. The total maximum Cat5 cable length is determined by how many zone controllers you have daisy-chained together. For example, 6 zone controllers daisy-chained together would yield a maximum total cable length of about 300 feet. Using a ZC Bob, home run connections can be used for each zone controller. This yields a maximum cable length of 1,000 feet per zone controller. Using a ZC Bob also provides redundancy in the event that a Cat5 cable or zone controller is compromised. A maximum of 2 ZC Bobs can be used per ZonePro device. The ZC Bob is intended to be installed close to the ZonePro device. The maximum cable length for the connection between the ZC Bob and the ZonePro is approximately 25 feet. Daisy chaining zone controllers to the ZC Bob is not recommended, as it likely will not work properly. This illustration shows the total maximum cable length dependent upon how many zone controllers you have daisy-chained together. The maximum cable length for 1 ZC is 1,000 feet. The maximum cable length for 2 ZCs daisy-chained together is about 800 feet. 3 ZCs daisy-chained together is about 600 feet. 4 ZCs daisy-chained together is about 500 feet. 5 ZCs daisy-chained together is about 400 feet. And the maximum cable length for 6 daisy-chained ZCs is about 300 feet.